I'm from the Seattle area, and I'm currently the PI coordinator, but I recently was the H&I coordinator for our area. And Teo, I'm not sure if I'm able to share my screen as a non-presenter, but this would be a good time to check that in a moment, because there's stuff I would love to share. I haven't tried to share my screen yet, but anyway, so we have been running Zoom panels in our facilities that we already had established relationships with. For one facility, it's our first week, and then for another one, we started last week, and for 2 others, we actually started about 4 weeks ago. And so we kind of been rolling it out gradually, and we've learned a lot, trial and error as we go. And so I'm going to try to be succinct and kind of share a process of how we got this rolled out and answer questions if that works out. So the first, let me share my screen here. It's disabled. So even if I'm...
Yeah, no, we can do that. Mandy has to do it.
Okay.
I think she might, people are trying to get in the room, so she might be tied up. But
yeah, I'm sure that is complicated.
Okay, it should be ready.
Okay, thank you. I'm just messing with where I share, making sure I have everything here for you. Okay, share screen. Okay, so the first thing I will say that really helped us get this off the ground was that we already had a PR Google Drive that we were using for over a year before this happened. For all of our, we had used the PR umbrella, and so H&I is just part of that. So everybody, all of the leaders, the officers within our subcommittee have their own folder, and all of our panel reports have been via Google Form and Google Sheet online. And so because we already had that system in place, we didn't have to create it. But if we didn't have that in place, a suggestion could be that to start there. Since it's all virtual, what I have realized is having everyone have access to the same information is really crucial since we're not meeting in person. So we have a Google Drive folder for our group. I made a panels during COVID folder within the H&I folder. And the first thing that I did after that is I reached out to our facilities and I just asked them, you know, are you open to doing virtual panels? What are your legal concerns? Because they have like HIPAA laws and stuff like that. And do you need literature? So I just kind of had a conversation on the phone with the facilities. And then I emailed them a follow-up and said, you know, we'll be in touch after we meet as a H&I group. And every facility had a different response. Some said, we're not ready for this at all. And then we called them back, you know, a couple weeks later. We haven't gotten into our jails yet. So we have 1 detox and 4 treatment centers we serve in the Seattle area. And a couple were ready right away. And so what we did next is we met as panel coordinators and leaders virtually via Zoom and created a new schedule. So when we meet in person, we have a rotation where, you know, one leader takes the panel in 1 week and someone else the next and all of that. Because of the wide variety of skill sets and experience on this, we didn't want to assume that anyone would be comfortable just jumping in with their regularly scheduled panel on Zoom. So we met as a group as anyone who was interested in working on this and getting trained and helping each other figure this out, and we made a new schedule. Also, we learned that a couple of our facilities wanted a different day or time than what they usually have. So it did kind of feel like we were reinventing the wheel a little bit, but it's just what had to happen for us. So an example being a facility that usually we see every Tuesday, we're seeing every other Sunday morning. So different panel leaders are available than usually are for that panel. So we did kind of have to start from the beginning. One thing we discovered early on was that it was smart to have one person be the panel leader and one person be the tech host who does the muting, the screen sharing, if somebody gets locked out or can't get back in or something's going on. So the panel leader can lead the panel like we normally do in person. Over time, as people get more experience, we have had a couple people say, I'm comfortable being both, and that's fine. But in the beginning, we always went in as pairs. In fact, in the beginning, we didn't even use oriented speakers. We just all used panel leaders because we wanted to see how this was going to go. And we just recently started inviting speakers who aren't on our committee to come back in. One thing that I'll share with you that I created with there was a meeting format someone in Pennsylvania made, and I kind of like cannibalized it and made it a H&I presentation, is this slideshow here. So I'll do it as a presentation. When we're running the panel leader usually has this open on their screen and just reads this. I'm not going to read it to you. It's the script that we usually read in our facilities. However, I abridged it to include information on our SeattleNA.org website with up-to-date meetings for online NA meetings, because a lot of the questions we keep getting from inpatients is, how do I stay clean when I get out of treatment? I can't go to a meeting, what do I do? So we abridged our introduction, preamble type stuff to match what's going on. This is, again, something that the panel leader follows. They don't necessarily share this with the facility, this part. So we use white books at our panels usually. We pass them out and inpatients do readings. But since we haven't had a steady stream of literature going in, we ask the facility, do you have white books? Are you willing to unmute? Some are, some aren't. We do some panels in the dark where we can't see or hear them due to their privacy decisions. And then we have one panel where they have their audio and visual on, and we can see them. So you just never know. If they have access to the literature, you can ask some people to read the readings. If they don't, then you can use the next slides to screen share, like a regular NA meeting who is doing Zoom. So I threw those in there. Let me get out of this. And the third situation would be, of course, if the inpatient facility has their audio off for them, like we can't hear them, then you just have your panel leaders have to read that. And I threw a slide at the end, the thank you for listening, all of that. We have been fortunate that as facilities get more comfortable, they have been willing to unmute their facility and actually do questions and answers. For the first time, we had that 2 weeks ago. And they are overjoyed. It's been very selfless. Like, we've been wondering, how is this going? We don't get a lot of feedback. But when we could see them in there and identifying as addicts and asking us questions and just the desperation of like, how do we stay clean right now? Thank you for coming in and doing this. It's been really, really fulfilling and moving to see to see what that is. The last thing I want to show you that I would strongly suggest. I made a H&I Gmail account, not to get any mail. Like, I never would give the email address out as a mail address, but simply so that I can't type while I'm talking. Okay, simply so that I can, every panel leader can log in to our Zoom account to run the panels the same, so that we don't have like 8 different people with 8 different Zoom accounts. So I'll show you that real quick. So of course I can't do that. Guys.
It's the email address. You're missing the L in Gmail.
Thank you. What would I do without all my helpers? Okay, so I went ahead and made a schedule that you can't see. I did pay we just paid the $15 or whatever. I mean, I donated it, but of course, getting reimbursed from our area also would have worked. So we decided in the beginning to meet every Sunday because it was so much to figure out. We've now gone to every other Sunday, which is great because it's less overwhelming. So I have a panel leader meeting, and then all of our panels have their own ID, and they also have their own password. Actually, all of their password is the same one. They don't have to know that, but we did password protect them due to the Zoom bombing stuff that was going on. And so every week, our panel coordinator just makes sure to email the facility with a reminder that, remember, you have a panel this night at this time. Here's your ID. Here's the password. We'll see you 5 minutes before it starts. One time we did have a meeting that we were ready to start, and the treatment center never showed up because they forgot. So we've learned that emailing and reminding during this time is kind of helpful. Okay, that's all that I had to share, and I'm going to stop there in case there's any questions I can answer, but I will also put the link to the view-only version of the slideshow in the chat, and then all you have to do is make a copy, and you can change it however you want it. That's all I got.